Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today, I don't know what it is. The two of my dogs have got bum legs, and it just makes you question what's going on in this world and what's going on all around me, that you just wake up and realize that things around you are just breaking down, literally breaking down. Dude is just a limping. Just really gets you thinking about what is actually happening the further and further and further you get into trying to understand who God is and what he's all about. Because there's one thing that I do know, that the more and more that you put faith in them, the more and more that you get closer to them, the more the things around you seem to want to just go downhill. It's like everything around you just tries to get into like an absolute level of sabotage where everything is going good and everything looks nice, and then you just got this broke down, this ain't right, that's falling apart, that didn't fall through. You just run into all these situations. It's just such an interesting thing. It's something that I've witnessed this past 2 years, and especially this past couple of months. It's just really digging deep and just consuming my entire world and reading the Bible over and over. And I just noticed that just things around me just break down. I got a cow with a broke leg. I got people calling the police on me. I got things that don't line up. It's just so strange in how things happen. But I will say this one thing though. I'm physically doing pretty good. I'm physically pretty strong. I'm still running. Actually, I'm running harder now than I've ever been. But it's just interesting that everything around me is falling apart. And I wonder what's going on with that. When I think about a story in this Bible, and that book of Job is a very interesting story to see, like almost like a test, but it's still a question if there's the such thing as tests or not in this Bible that God does to his people to figure out if they're loyal to him or not. Because I haven't really seen that to be a true thing, where that's kind of just something that I think we as human beings kind of try to put upon what it is that we think and interpret things in such a way. But I don't believe that he tests us and puts bad things upon us and challenges you with things and kills all your animals and all your kids and all your flocks and all your everything to just see if you're going to be loyal to him or not. And then later on, give it back to you times 10. It seems kind of, that's a good word, crooked to say in reality, where that's an interesting book, the book of Job. But in reality, it's a book that doesn't quite go along with the remainder of the Bible. So it's a very, very interesting one, because it's set up such a different way of speaking, such a different way of how the language they're using. Everything about it is just so different than the rest of the Bible, and what's going on. It's like something that was just like put in there. It's very, very fascinating. But today, I don't know what it is, but I've been reading a lot of the books today that just really get into me about the whole concept of why God even cares. Why does he still keep on trying? Why does he even put in the effort? Why does he just get rid of and go off and go do something else and just move on to a whole new project and a whole new thing? Because story after story, you can go book after book in this. You can go through, especially in the book of Judges, the book of 1 Kings, 2 Kings, the book of Chronicles, which is just a summary of everything that's going on. It's people just going against them over and over and over. You can't read, going through some of this, you can't go a page without something being said about how the Israelites are going against. The Israelites are disrespecting and disobeying God. The Israelites are. It's just a common thing that just happens over and over and over again. That as soon as they get some peace, as soon as they get, say, saved, as soon as they get out of the misery they're in, they go right back into destruction. They go right back into other idols. They go right back into other gods. They go right back into just doing everything that God's telling them not to do. It just makes you wonder, when I keep on reading this, it's like the first few times, I'm telling you, the more and more that you read it, the more and more that you start to be able to piece some things together. At first, when I read it, I would hear names. When they're going through the genealogy of all the names of all the people, I would just like kind of skip past that. But now it's fascinating that I like listening to it, because I could put where each person is, where they are, part of the groups that they are, and what their sons are, and who their daughters are, and you start to be able to piece some things together. But at first you read it, you're just reading names. And some of this stuff goes deep. I mean, serious deep, and just page worth of names. And it's really hard to pay in. Like this First Chronicles is one that just goes through name after name for chapters, straight chapters of just father and son of this and son of that and son of this and son. It's chapters, 6, 7, 8, 9 chapters worth of just talking about names that doesn't really say any of the story, but it's fascinating that when you start to get a better understanding of each of the timeline, everything that's going on, you start to understand the names. You start to be able to put them in places. But it's just very fascinating because it's like every generation, it seems like. They get saved, everything is good to go. They praise God because they've seen his magnificentness, and then they fall right back into doing something that they shouldn't be doing. So then they get further and further down and further away. And then it's like the next generation comes and they're like, oh yeah, and there's something interesting, I think in the Second Kings, where someone just stumbles upon a book and they start reading this book and just like, oh, these are the laws of Moses. Like, we lost this. This is forbidden information, forbidden knowledge that we don't know or don't have anything about. And then they start reading it. They're like, oh, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And then they start to get back on it again. And it's something that just keeps going on over and over again. There's just never a time where you can put on it where it just says like 100+ years of they were just obeying God. Shoot, you can say 50 years, maybe even less than that. There's been times of 40 years apiece. But even within that 40 years, it'll say 40 years, and then the next verse and the next chapter is Israel did wicked in the Lord's eyes, like instantly, right again. There's like there's no peace here. There's no long term. There's no anything that's lasted as long as. So you say Jesus has been gone for 2,000 years, and then before that another several thousand years. We've never been in the good graces of God for more than 100 years, for more than 50 years, and it's just very fascinating. It's like, why wouldn't he just give up? Why wouldn't he just quit by now? Why would he just keep on going and keep on going? Or let's get down and keep on going and keep on going and just keep driving himself into insanity in reality. Just seeing the same thing happen over and over and over and over and over again. My goodness, you can read this Bible and that's the biggest thing. That's why something I said a couple weeks ago. That's just the more and more I read this, the more and more I'm like, I'm almost embarrassed to say that I would be an Israelite, part of Jacob's clan, or especially Jacob's people. Like, I would be embarrassed to be considered coming from that. Like, those are my ancestors, based on everything that I'm reading here that's been going on. Like, I would not want to represent that. I would like try to keep that on the down low from the rest of the people to not let them know. Because when they read this Bible, they're going to realize like who your ancestors truly are. Just wicked people. People that just cannot act right, cannot do right, cannot be right, cannot ever just have a time in their mind of just saying, I'm going to follow this because God did this and I'm just going to do this. There's just never a time like that. So I'm just like, why would God keep going and just keep going and just keep watching this happen over and over again, knowing that we're going to get right, because he's like, oh, I got to save them again because they're headed way too far away. And then he brings them back and then, oh, I got to save them again. And why would he keep doing such a thing? Why wouldn't he just bring the fire, bring the floods? Well, he can't bring the floods because he promised he wouldn't flood the whole world. But he didn't say he wouldn't flood 98% of it. He just said he wouldn't flood the whole world. And when we want to be word specific in this Bible, we got to understand that if he wants to flood half the world, that's totally acceptable. If he wants to flood the half and burn the other half, he's doing what he's doing. Then I just don't get why it hasn't been done already, like thousands of years ago in reality. Like, it just doesn't quite make sense to me on why he would just keep putting himself through this torture of watching his people just be disrespectful over and over and over again. When he said, hey, don't do that, and the first thing that they do, bam, right over there, they go do that. It's just, it's so maddening to me. It's so wild. And that's something where when someone would say to me, like a guy, he says it, he got anger, he got hate, he got frustration, he got regret. God's got all that. He states that about different people and different things at different times, that he expresses that about us and what it is that goes on with us. But it's just very interesting that one word that a lot of people don't really quite understand about who God truly is that patience. That God is ridiculously patient than any human being could ever possibly be. If something that you were working on was going completely against you once or twice or 3 times, 4 or 5 or 6 times, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 times, you would have been quit. But God is still continuing going like hundreds of times. He's just not giving up. And in reality, it's an unlimited amount of times. Because when you're reading this Bible, you're reading it in a sense of like all of the people as collected, as opposed to just the individuals that are out there. So individually, there's just billions and trillions of people that are just being so disrespectful to who and what has created them and living by what it is that he's looking for from us. And it's for him to just say, I'll give you another chance. It's like me every day being able to wake up. me to wake up, knowing I messed up and did this and didn't do what I was supposed to do, and he allowed me to be able to wake up another day. Allowed me to be able to get to where I need to be able to get to safely. Allowed me to be able to still be able to feed myself and still be able to house myself, still be able to give myself some water. Allow me to be able to feed all my animals somehow. Like, I still don't know how I'm able to do such a thing, that everything is still always just fed. And it just blows my mind sometimes because the numbers just don't add up. And somehow I'm able to just keep on doing this stuff. And it's so confusing to me because of how disobedient I was my entire life. When I would literally, there was days in my life that I would even say to other people, not even just to myself, of like, I hate God and I hate you. And I hate that you made me. I hate that you put me here. I hate that you've done any of this to me. I hate that you bring this to me. I hate that all this is around me. I would say that, and I would scream that, and I would yell that, and I would keep that in my mind. And I would keep that in my thoughts, especially in my mind and my thoughts of the days of I always want to just kill myself. I just want to just end it. I just want to be done. So every single day I'm saying that, all day I'm saying that. I'm just disrespecting God. All day I'm looking for something else to be able to help me, be able to give me some sort of a safety, some sort of security, and never looking to God and relying upon Him. Every single day doing that, but yet I'm still here. I'm still doing what I'm doing. And I'm still here in a way of talking something completely different today than I've ever been in my entire life. It's so confusing to me as being a simple human being of why God would just continue to keep on going. Why would He still keep pushing this forward? Why wouldn't He just get rid of it after the fourth or the fifth time when the people said, we're like right away bringing them out of Egypt, because He already knew how we were by putting, what's his name, Noah on the boat. Noah builds the boat. He tells him to get into this dang on boat, and the boat is going. He knows what his people are all about because He's just flooding them all. He's like, I got to get rid of that. But that people are still in Noah and his sons and his daughters-in-laws and his wife. Those people are still within Him. So it's not like it's some just magical new creation. No, it's still them same people. Just they're not as bad as those other people. So He already knows what we're all about. He already knows what we're about to go back into again. And He still decides, you know what, I'll keep some of these people, and then I'll bring them back. And then I'll bring them back in a different type of way. I'm going to put, it's interesting language in there where He talks about He puts the fear in the animals. So I almost think, and I hate assuming, but the animals were different to us in the beginning before the flood. The animals were not afraid of us. Like a deer would just walk up to you and feed it and hang with it. And all the animals ate like grass. They didn't eat each other. They weren't savage. Savage today is a good word of saying. Things were a lot different then. And something happened with all that. And then He put the fear of taking it from us and put it onto the animals. And that's why we have like majority of animals out here are freaked out. Majority of everything out here is scared. And if they're not, it's because they're so confident that they know that they can hurt you. And that's where dogs really come into play. I like the ones that are willing to bite your face off, because that lets me know how confident they are, because that's showing me who they truly are. I like seeing a true dog, not a dog that's so like my May here. May is not a dog. She's something different today that we're creating. But the animals that know that they're not scared, like bears and lions, they're not scared of us. So they'll come right up to your face and look at you right in the face like, I'm going to be able to destroy you. But we have a difference of animals today. And then God knowing that we were going to fail. And then knowing that right as soon as we got onto the land, when the waters receded down, there was some sticky situations already going on. And then with those sticky situations started conflict. And then conflict started right away again. And God still said, He's like, I'll keep it going. I'll keep this going. I'll bring them the grace. I'll bring them some safety. I'll bring them some security. I'll bring them what they need. And He continue to keep doing that. And then He brought up some people and more people and more people, and to the point that you get to the Israelites, and the Israelites go into battle where they literally fight to kill all of their own people. One tribe got completely wiped off, and then the women end up getting taken by different tribes because they were trying to keep that one going. And it's just so embarrassing in reality, in a way, when you're just thinking about your brothers and your sister and all y'all together that are, hey, Johnny. And y'all just fighting to the point that you're fighting to the death. You're trying to kill each other. Come here. Oh, get down. Get down. Johnny. Y'all fighting to the point that you're killing each other because you're not approving of what another one is doing. And it just continues to keep on happening that way. Things continue to keep on going down that way. And it just keep fighting and fighting, and getting on the commands, asking, begging and bleeding, saying, God, please, we need you, we need you, we need you. And then God's like, okay, I'll bring you some relief, and I'll bring you someone to be able to follow, and someone to bring the information to you, and He brings it to you. And then 20 years later, or even 2 minutes later, you go right back to doing the same old stuff again. And then you just fall away. And then You do it again. You say, God, we've failed. We're fallen. We need you. We need you. It's just this cycle that just keeps happening. And it's just absolutely maddening. It's like, why the heck would God just keep on pursuing this? Why would he keep looking? Why would he keep going through this? Why would he keep watching as people have to go through this and still keep on having to lend his hand to him and keep on having to try to help us out and keep on trying to get us out of sticky situations and keep on trying to be able to bring blessings to us, even though we've just cursed and destroyed everything about him, that we're doing everything. And then today we're headed into a very interesting world that it's just like, we're no longer just saying we don't approve of and we don't like God, but we're actually today like purposely doing things to get back at God. Like we're doing things that he specifically says like don't do in the Bible, and we're like purposely doing it. We're like reading it and saying, oh, I shouldn't that. Okay, then let's do that. Let's start that up. Let's make that a new fad. Let's make that the new cool thing to do. It's very, very interesting how we do some things and how things go on. And God will just keep on just, I'll help you out. I'll push you through it. I'll move you along. I'll keep things going. It's just, to me, in my thinking, it's maddening. Because there's been many projects that I started out here that I was working on, that I was doing, that just, I started it and it just wasn't working and it wasn't working and it wasn't working. And I'm just like, I gotta stop that. I can't keep working at that, because where am I gonna go? I'm just gonna go for it to fail and 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 just go for it to fail and just keep on doing that for 3,000, 4,000 years. Like, it's just so silly to me. It's so silly to me. And that's what makes me think like, man, God, what is the purpose of what God's purpose is? Not a human being's purpose. Our purpose out here is just to follow the commands, the laws, and decrees that God gave us. But it makes you think of like, what's God's purpose? God's purpose is something that is just absolutely just mind-blowingly that we could never even comprehend. We could never understand it. We could never even get on that level of figuring out what the heck is going on. With seeing the amount of patience that's going on with what God is doing. With already up front seeing the first two people get jammed up and just say, you know what? We'll be able to work on that. We'll be able to get through that. So it makes me think like, what the heck is going on here? Then it also makes me think, reading some more stuff of how God does some things to like put up a reminder as if he's going to forget. So it's interesting the language that's put, especially like the rainbow with Noah. He's like, I'm going to put this bow here to remind myself to not flood the earth again. So it's almost like, did he forget? Does he forget? Does he not remember what happened? That he's so busy with everything else that he looks at us as we're just like eighth place type scenario, where he forgot the whole timeline that's going on. It's a very interesting language that goes on, because it's straight up said just like that. He puts these covenants in place. He's like, oh, I remember that covenant. I remember that covenant I gave Abraham. So I gotta be able to help you guys out. Oh, I remember that covenant that I gave to Jacob. So I gotta be able to do this. Oh, I remember the covenant I did with Israel. So I gotta come back and I gotta help you get through this now. It's very interesting that things happen, that it's almost like he's not even really fully paying attention to us like all the time. It's like we're just background noise in a way, that when we start to struggle, then he's like, oh, okay, I'll come help them out. And then we get to our good places, then he's like, almost like he knows that we're gonna fail, so he just y'all do what y'all do, because he can't force us to do anything. He can't dictate to us to do anything. He can't make us do anything. We gotta do what we gotta do to be right. And if we don't do it, he can't make it. Because all that he could make is give life or death in reality, that he could end your life to take you out of here, but that's not going to get you to get closer to him in any sort of way. So it's almost like every single time this keeps going on, each scenario keeps getting to the point that he removes himself more and more. Because it's like something I was reading yesterday about, where was that? I forgot what story that was. But when they get enslaved again for like the 80th time, that everyone just keeps getting enslaved, because if you're not playing by God's commands, you're not listening to his laws, you're not doing what he's asking you to do, he just enslaves you. He brings in another group of people that are going to listen to him to enslave you. And then when those people don't listen to you, he just keeps flipping it. So one just keeps going above the other. It just keeps on going that way over and over and over and over and over again. And then sometimes it gets to the point that you end up getting enslaved, and God's just like, you're going to cry out, and I'm not going to hear you. I'm going to leave you stuck. I'm going to leave you in the situation that you're in. And I'm not going to come to your rescue. I'm not going to come and try to get you out of that one. I'm just going to leave you there. I'm going to leave you there. Then you're going to have to cry out and cry out and cry out even more. It seems like he starts to separate himself a little bit, that you're going to have to do a lot to be able to convince him to be able to come back. And it's almost like, I don't know, that I get it when I hear about and see some things today and how things go on. And I get it when I think about my own self and my own life with stuff that goes on, where it's like, you would think that, oh, I believe in God and he should be able to come in and give me those blessings. But it's like, hold on a second. we've been so disrespectful, so disobedient for so long, for forever in reality. That God's just like, he's like, I'm gonna let you ride that out for a little bit to see how faithful you actually truly are. I'm gonna see. And that's where I come back to the whole thing of testing. Does God test us? Does he challenge us? Does he put things upon us to see if we're gonna stay at it, or if we're gonna quit, we're gonna go back to some old things again? Because for me, I do know that I could sit here and try to talk and act like I'm all pepped up and everything's good to go. I'm pretty much like that. But I'm able to deal with a lot of chaos that goes on in my life, because I've always had a lot of chaos in my life. And it's always been chaos. I don't know of a time in my life since I can remember that things just weren't strange. Things weren't complicated. Things weren't just super to the point of just like, what the heck is going on? Like every day it's just been like that for me, and I don't know why. And it's so when I run into that, and I notice that I run into that more today, it doesn't really slow me down as much anymore, because I'm used to it. It's just my life. But I do notice that, like I said, it started off the beginning of things around me start to just get destroyed. Things around me start to just really come to me to try to put a lot of pressure on me, to get me to slow down, to get me to just get messed up. Things around me start to get way more complicated, where I got a dog that's just limping, just out of the blue, just gimping. I'm like, dude, what's going on? I got a dog here that I don't know if she's faking it at this point anymore, but she's been hurt for like a month now. And she just walks so slow, and she barely wants to get up, and she's got this pitiful look all the time. It's so wild. I got another dog. Which one did it? That one killed a chicken for the first time in his life. Just went savage mode on one of them. He's like, I'm going in, dude. He's never done. He's about to be 6 years old this year. No, five. No, he's about to be 5 years old this year. He's never done such a thing. And this dog here, he just likes to look at me with this, like, I'm not, you see him. I tell him to get down, and he just stands there. He just sits there. He's like, and I've just got it in me today to just do what the heck you do. do what you do, man. Like, I know you're gonna end up laying down, but I'm not gonna sit here and fight with you. I'm not the one. I just don't care. I see your pushback, and I'm just like, dude, just do what the heck did you do, man. And I wake up in the morning, and I'm looking for my chicken, trying to feed them, and I don't know how many I have over here. There's like 200 and something, somewhere around there. And I wake up, and there's like 50 or 60 of them just outside the coop, just running around, having a good time. Just like, what the heck are you guys doing? Like, what is happening here? And I'm going for a run. It happened today again to me. And I'm just doing my thing, and the other day I fell. I busted my shoulder. I busted my hands. I got them all scraped open. I busted my leg. Just jammed up, stuff that just never happens. It's absolutely wild to me on how, like, things just start to get really challenging to the point that it makes you like question some things, and then getting tested with some things that is just super wild. I can't go to the lake anymore today and not smell someone smoking some weed. Like, it's there. Like the other day, the dude seriously had a whole bong, way out there. We're 3 miles into this walk to even get to this point. So he carried it in a backpack, a whole freaking big old thing, and he's just out there smoking, just taking tokes out of right there, just right in front of me, smoking, staring me right in my eyes. I'm just like, dude, what the heck is going on here? It's like everything out there is just trying to tempt me. And the same thing, like, this is one thing that I will say, that the enemy, you can say the devil, the Satan, he knows everything about us. But there's something interesting, that I don't think that he knows our thoughts. I think that he only knows what we see, what we experience, what we do, where we go, what he thinks that we like. But there's some things I believe that is deep down in us, that's where God is in our thoughts and able to understand it, where the devil can put thoughts in you, but he doesn't know how to, like, be able to read what you're about to do next. He knows based on what you do next, what you're gonna do. And if you keep on doing certain things, that's what you do, that's what you're thinking of. So if I'm thinking of standing up, I'm more likely gonna stand up. So he can know what we're about to do, but not actually read what's inside. And that's where God is all in. But the devil can put some thoughts inside of you. And it's something that's interesting, that he knows that, and there's some things that we do that gets messed up, where he'll put something in your way that I think will make you stumble. But it's like, actually, no, I actually don't like that. And I don't think that he knows 100% everything about us. That's why, for me, other things that I keep getting challenged with, just a bunch of females and doing what they're doing and all in my way, and it's the main thing is, I'm gonna say, he's putting the wrong one there. He doesn't know exactly what it is that I'm looking for. He knows what my actions go towards, but for me, it's just because that's I hate to say it this way, but that's easy. He doesn't know what I actually want, because what I'm looking at is much more complicated. He'll put the easy ones in my face, so it's easy to just say, nah, no, like that's too easy, and I'm not even going to deal with that. But all this just keeps happening. And it keeps getting more and more and more intense. So intense. My YouTube feed, videos pop up on just madness, just insane. Like bringing, like I said, females, bringing just different things, drugs, bringing alcohol, everything that just wants to pop in. Things that I used to think were funny that I'm just like, that's cruel today. Like it just gets flooded with things like that. And it just blows my mind. The more and more that I keep on reading this Bible, the more and more I'm trying to put myself into understanding and wanting to be close with God, the more this extraness comes to try and just absolutely sabotage and destroy my life. And trying to really just bring me down, to just destroy me, to make me go back to the things I used to do. Like last night was one of probably the hardest days and nights that I've had in a very, very long time, with just an excessive amount of pressure. Just pressure of like, go back and do that, go back and do that, go do that, call them, go there, do this, get in contact with this person. Just wild. Me trying to go to sleep and I just can't. Me just laying there like la 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 la, everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna fall asleep at some point. Hey, Oreo, get down. I'm gonna fall asleep at some point. I'm gonna get there someday and just challenge. Not being able to sleep right, not being just always awake. When I do be able to get a chance to get some sleep, just frustrated because it's never enough, and you wake up in a weird thing, weird dreams of. And today I had a very strange thing go on that I just woke up in like a whoa, what the heck, man? I don't know what it is. Some boy just jumped off a Ferris wheel. He didn't die or nothing, but he was messed up, and I just woke up like, that is just tragic. Like, why would you even jump off of that? Like, what's going through your mind to make you jump off the top of that Ferris wheel? Like, that was just crazy. And I just woke up and just not having any sort of peaceful things like that. That just crazy madness is going on all around me. And it just keeps getting greater and greater and greater and greater, to the point that it's like trying to just break you. And last night it was trying to break me to the point of just like, haha, I got you. I know what you're gonna do. I know you're gonna go there. And then I didn't. And I'm just like, almost in my mind, I thought and said to myself, like, you need to try much harder than that. Like much harder. Like give me the best, is what I said. And maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that's what I said. Because it was like, it was pushing to the point of thinking that was going to get me to break. That was going to mean to go back to something I used to do. And all you got to do is get a person to go to one thing of falling and slipping away. And then it turns into 20 different things. And then it turns into just complete, it's hard to even get back again. It's hard because you're like, oh, that didn't work. I don't want to go there. That was too much. I want to stay away from that. And that's just what I think and see just constantly keeps going on. And not even just with me, but I've been watching this, but a lot of people that I've been paying attention to on the YouTube, that I've been watching you. And I know that a lot of us watch each other, because it's just what we do, more than likely. But I can't just watch my own self. That gets kind of, I'm gonna say it's kind of messed up, but I get kind of boring in reality just watching my own self. That I gotta watch someone else, and I gotta watch someone else, and I gotta just feed around. So for me, I have a good understanding of why certain people have a bigger following than others, because you're just more entertaining in such a way that I don't know. I just still look at myself and I'm just kind of boring. I don't really do. My life is so boring. It's so calculated. It's always the same. I go to the same places, do the same stuff, eat the same type foods. It's super boring. It's like extremely boring. And it's not something for anyone to just like, I'm just out there experiencing and doing all kinds of crazy cool stuff and got a new tractor just doing this. No, you'll watch me just put my gloves on and move wood. Put my gloves on and pull weeds. Put my gloves on and clean some brush. And put my gloves on and like, I just do the same stuff all the time. I just put my gloves on. I even wear these boots and I just get out here and start doing some stuff. Like it's nothing entertaining. It's very, very boring. But I've been watching a lot of people that have been struggling. You've been getting like absolute defeated and going and slipping right back into things that you don't want to do. And you said that you don't want to do. And you're back in it, doing it again. And you're back in it, and you're not even sure how to get out of it anymore. I've been watching this from a lot of people, getting a lot of pressure on you, a lot of pressure, and a lot of you, unfortunately, just giving up, just falling, it just going into it. And it just makes me think like, what is that? What is that? What is it about that we would be out here trying to get closer to God, trying to understand Him, calling out for Him, and seeking Him, and demanding for Him, and needing Him, and calling the same way that everyone in this Bible is calling, saying, God, I know we've been doing wrong. I know we've been failing. I know we've been off the commands. I know we've been lying, cheating, and stealing. I know we've been manipulating. I know we've been giving false testimony. I know we've been angry. I know we've been putting hate out there. I know we've been being destructive to others, to even my own self. I know we've been doing that, but I want to get away from that, and God, I need your help, and I need you. And we're calling and we're looking to bring them in. And it's in a way of just knowing how patient God is, but at the same time, that patience is not the patience that we understand as humans. That he comes, but at the same time, when we read this book, it's like sometimes a person will say, I got a vision from God, and then it'll be like he gave birth, and then now the kid is weaned, and we're talking like 4 or 5 years later that God comes back and says something again. So that person had to stay and be on it for years, and if not his entire lifetime, for God to be able to come back and say, okay, let me move and do something for y'all, because I need to help y'all out. And it's a very interesting thing of what we think of when you really do want to call upon the name of Jesus. Because it's not an instant thing that everything is just going to be perfect in your life. It's not an instant thing that you're just going to, all your problems are going to be taken away and you're just going to be good to go. No, it's going to be an instant thing of putting all his commands, all his laws on your heart now. And now you're going to have to figure out how to be able to work and stay at it no matter what comes at you, of making sure that you're being faithful to God. And that's something that is just very interesting, because in reality, we're not here all that long in this life on this planet. We're really not. And it's up to us to make sure that we do what it is that we can do with the short and limited amount of time that we have. In the short and limited amount of time that we have, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that we stick to what it is that we say we're going to do. And that's, to me, more of a test to our own selves, and not a test that God is testing us with, but our own selves saying, I don't want to do that anymore. And for you to do everything you can to figure out how not to do that anymore. And that's where all the commands and all the laws come into play. That's where all of that just really gets inside of you. And then you have the guidelines of how to be able to get away from what it is that you said that you don't want to do anymore. And then it's like we test ourselves later. You're like, you sure you don't want that? You sure you don't want to do that? And you're like, no, I want to go this way. I don't want to do that anymore. And then things like that just start to happen to us, because there's nothing that's concrete and clear in this Bible about how God moves in reality. It explains what has happened to some people, but it doesn't really explain like how far down did they get until God really came in to help them out. It just says they started worshiping Baal, they started sacrificing their kids, this is stuff we're doing today. We're sacrificing children, we're worshiping other gods, we're creating new ones even that aren't even in this Bible. We're making new stuff today even, and we're creating our own gods in our own selves. They don't even really talk much about that in the Bible. And so it's very interesting. It's like, how far down did it go until God finally came in and said, okay, I'm gonna help y'all out. It's never really stated in any way. It just says that they were struggling and they were crying out for help. It just says that they were struggling. They were hurting. They were getting beat down. They didn't have house. They didn't have food. They were losing their children. They were having problems. And then God came in and helped them. So it's something that is very interesting, because when there's questions that you have that you never know a timeline, it makes you really think like, what the heck is really going on? And it makes you have to really challenge a lot of that's going on in your day-to-day with everything around you. That we got to make sure. It's something to pay very close attention to. Something that's been written a lot in the New Testament is be on watch, be on guard, be of sober mind, be ready. Because at any time, at any moment, things can happen, things can change, things can manifest, things can just show up. Things can be at such a drastic change that you're just like, you weren't ready for it. And that's why he's asking us to always be on guard and be ready, always. No matter what's going on around you, be ready. Be ready. Be ready for what's to come. And knowing that you're going to be able to get through it. Knowing that if you stay confident, you stay firm, you stay faithful, you're going to be good to go. And it's something that, since there's no timeline with it, we can't put expectations on God to tell him when I want this and when I want that. Something that I would do, and I still would do, but not to God, but to my own self in a way with some stuff. I say, if I don't get this lined up, I got to cancel that. If this doesn't happen for me, I got to get rid of that. If I'm not able to follow through and be able to keep up, I got to get rid of that. I would always do stuff like that with myself and put timelines with it and say, oh, by August 15th, if I don't have at least this, that's got to go. And sometimes, and most times, it actually follows through. But I feel like that's a way of like some witchcraft, I'm going to say. That's some demonic stuff where I'm trying to put pressure upon God to make him give me something, where I'm just praying upon it for my own self of thinking I need it and not realizing that that's not what God is all about. That's not what he's here for. That's not what he's able to offer to us. And when I'm doing stuff like that, I'm trying to get relief for myself. And then it makes me think like, man, I'm doing all the wrong that I shouldn't be doing. Why am I out here acting all anxious and all scared and all worried and putting demands and putting things out there saying you better this or that? And it just makes me question about a lot of people in the Bible. And it makes you question about like how God is just so patient with continuing to keep on allowing us to be out here to do what it is that we do. It's just, I don't know, it's very, very interesting to me. And with that, I just want to say thank you for a very challenging days, weeks, and challenging month. Probably one of the most challenging weeks I've had in a very, very long time in my life. But yet, it's shockingly different with me I ain't saying it like this, but I don't care. I don't care that my dog's leg is bummed. He's walking around gimping. At least he's still getting around. I don't care that this one here is, I don't know what's going on with her. I don't care that my dog ate the chicken. I just know he didn't eat it. He killed it. I'll let the other dog eat it. I'm not gonna let him eat it if he killed it. I don't care that my chickens all wanna run around savage and go crazy. I don't care that I keep running into just situations where I just, damn it, hurting myself. I fell and busted my body up and I just don't care. I don't care that people wanna call the police on me, try to get me jammed up. I just don't care. I don't care that things are just weirdly messed up out here. Like, there was a thing of like peace. Now there's a little disruptive going on out here. My donkey is chanting in the middle of the night, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Very strange. I don't care. I don't care that things are not all the best of the best. Because I've just come to realize all this stuff is just stuff. All these things are just things. All these items are just items. And just none of it in reality, in the end, and even my own self. Hey, Oriole, like, I don't even care that he just gets up like that. Get down. just don't care. And I'm thankful for that today. And that's the main thing where all I do is read this Bible on repeat over and over. And I find some new information. I learn some new information. And I feel like that's the only thing that I care about anymore. I don't care about this outside other things that are just going on that are just so tragic. I don't care that my life is so boring, so basic, so routine. Like anyone that would look at it and watch it, you wouldn't be able to keep up mainly just because you would get bored. You're like, I want to do something. But it wouldn't be because I couldn't challenge you. I'd challenge you. And that might take you a long time to be able to keep up with because you're going to keep on getting challenged each day. So as soon as you're able to like keep up with it, you'll find the boring behind it. But I just realized that I don't care. I don't know why I say it like that. I don't care. I don't care that everything out here is just challenging. I don't care that this dog is now just being so pushy. So pushy that he used to just be so perfect's not the word, but it is. He's so perfect. You tell him to do something, you do it. I could tell this dude to down, and I could literally like walk and go and do whatever the heck I want to do for an hour, 2, 3, and he'll still be there. Looking at me like, what's up, man? And he just doesn't want to do that anymore. It's weird of things that just like happen on the outside world that just put so much pressure in that kind of almost like makes you go crazy. Makes you want to like go back to doing something else to try to like escape that pressure and try to run away from that pressure. And I'm thankful to be able to have something to be able to keep me like sane in my mind, to not focus on that pressure, but to focus on something else much greater, something else much more worthy, something else that's just much more magnificent, something else that's much more glorious that I'll never be able to understand because of how patient God is. God is so patient, so amazing on how he just would not just get rid of it all just because. That he's going to give you chance after chance after chance after chance and forever an unlimited amount of chances is the language that God puts in this Bible for us to read about who he is. He's going to give us an unlimited amount of chances. Even if you harm something, even if you stunt, if you lie, you cheat, you're doing all this stuff. He's giving you chance after chance after chance after chance and allowing it to keep on going. And it's just, there's something to be very, very thankful for, I feel like, just in my life, to just be able to have those chances of realizing that if I do mess up, I can get right back in it. But I don't want to mess up because it makes it that much harder to try to get back in. And that's what I'm going to say I'm scared of today. That's the fear that I have. The fear of God in me of, I don't want to mess up because it's going to be hard to get back again. That I remember quitting certain things and it was hard. I remember stopped smoking. It was, smoking that weed was hard for me. It was so hard. It was so challenging. And since I know how hard it was to stop it and how easy it is to get back in it and how joyful it was in reality to be able to just do it, it's going to be really, really hard to stop it again. It's going to be really hard to stop it again. It's going to be really hard if I decide I don't want to listen to the Bible anymore because it's just I don't believe it anymore. I can't. God is just, he's no good. It's going to be really hard to try to get back in it again because you're hearing some information from somebody. That's something for me that just continue to keep happening. That I would keep finding people just talk so bad about the Bible. And some of it, I'll listen to it and I'm just like, I hear what you're saying, man. I know exactly what you're saying because I read and hear that same stuff. I hear what you're saying. But I can't just, oh, that's it. That chapter of my life is over and we'll try to move on to something else. Because how hard it was for me to be able to get into the point of being able to read this book and being able to have a good understanding of knowing who God is, it would be 10 times harder, if not impossible, for me to get back into it again. Because of how, sorry, there's a cow that just showed up. It would be so much harder to get back into it. Yeah, Oriole, get down. So much harder to move forward. And since I know how hard it is to stop things that I used to do, and with all this pressure that's being put on me, with go back to here and go do this and go check out that and go talk to her, and with all this pressure, it makes me, just me, have a good understanding, realizing like, I'm gonna fight against that with everything I have, beyond everything I have, to be able to figure out how to never go back to that because I don't wanna have to deal with the problems of getting out of it again. And that's what I'm gonna say is the fear I have, the fear that God has placed in me of when I wanna stick to his commands and stick to his laws, that I have his blessings. But if I wanna go against it, I'm gonna have his curses. And I've been a part of those curses and I've lived that and I'm still living that. And it's something that I wanna figure out how to be able to get out of and never go back into. And it's something that is not easy. It's not easy because I'm gonna say like when you really wanna start to read your Bible and really start to understand and learn who God is and you really wanna get on your commands, the world's gonna hit you really hard. And in a way, I'm thankful for that because it's something that he says that there's a wide and a narrow. And it's something that he says that when you stick to that narrow, you're gonna find what it is that you're looking for. And it's not gonna be easy. It's not. And when we have to deal and figure out how to be able to fight and get past and get through all of that, that's gonna be able to give us something that is just gonna be absolutely amazing. And it means you gotta just fight everything that is putting all this pressure on you. You gotta fight against it. You gotta push back at it and say, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not gonna allow that. I'm not gonna let these old things that I used to do come back into me again. I'm trying to ease this pain to give me a little bit of pleasure right now, to just keep me to be stuck later on. You just gotta fight against it. And that's something that I've just come to really realize. You just completely fight against it. Go against it. And I got it in me to just really stay at that because I'm watching what's going on with people that are going back to things. I can see it. It's fast. It takes and consumes you. You decide to stop smoking, and as soon as you start it again once, it just takes you. It just takes you completely away. You run completely away from everything you used to do. Everything that used to be all about, it's gone. It takes everything away from you, and it's so fast. And I could watch it happen in a matter of a day. And then give it a week, it's tragic. And you don't see it. You don't see that. You see like everything is good to go. I'm just doing this a little bit and everything is fine. But you're actually going way back. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be really hard to try to come back from that. And that's for me to just realize that there's a lot out here that's that's being pushed on us. That's like pleasure here, pleasure there, and all this stuff, and it's just, it's not the way to go. And the reason that it's so easy and it's so in everything. They're smoking in every movie, drinking in every movie, there's sex in every movie, there's all this in everything to just keep you hooked on it, to keep you staying in it. But it's gonna be for those that decide that I don't want that anymore, that are actually gonna be able to do something of substantial value for your own self and for humanity in the future. That maybe right here, right now, you don't see it. Because a lot of times, a lot of these people, they weren't really amplified up until later on, such as Moses. These people that he was with, they wanted to stone him like every day. They were just like, I hate this guy. Brought us out of our goodness of being in slavery and brought us out here to this and this. They're just trying to kill him. But then later on, they realized, and we look back at him and what he was doing as something that is memorable, something that is honorable, something that is just absolutely fantastic. But while he was alive, it wasn't quite that way. So it's something that's very, very interesting to me, that it makes me know that when that pressure comes on you, fight against it. Don't give in. Do everything and anything that you need to do. Do everything you can possibly do to stay away from that pressure. Thank you.